Okay, so it's your boy. What's going on? It's the Conscious Growing Gardener channel, y'all, and it's your boy, the Garden Guru, right? AKA Mr. Notes, right? With them vocals. You hear I'm kind of hoarse, right? Been really working out and stuff. So check this out. Um, today's topic is just crazy, right? It's like really exciting, you know what I'm saying? It is not. I know I'm smiling only because I'm smiling. It's because I'm hoping that at some point in time, this video and other people that are saying the same thing I'm saying will go viral, and like the stuff like Kwame Brown is talking about, and we can have a dialogue, and then we can get some of these parents to become a part more and more of a part of the situation that we dealing with in this country for our young men. So the other day on Facebook, I happen to be on Facebook. Shout out to all my subscribers on Facebook, all my Conscious Growing Gardener, all 1.1 K of you guys that watch that follow me on the on Facebook. So the other day, there was on Facebook there was a comment. Uh, in fact, it was from one of my brothers. Okay, I have several brothers, and one of my brothers was making a comment about men taking care of women and women uh, uh, not wanting to work or provide or to think that they supposed to bring something to the table. So there were a bunch of comments. Oh my God, there were so many comments. There were women saying that they do provide, and I'm sure they do. I'm never going against that. I know there are a lot of women that are doing that thing out here. So they do provide, and there were some women saying that uh, uh, uh they got good men, and some women like, well, that's what it's supposed to be. Men's supposed to take care of you and blah blah blah. This, that, and the other, third and fourth, and that's his job and responsibility. You his wife and blah blah blah. On and on and on and on. Right. So then I broke out some math. You know what I'm saying? Because see, people get in their emotions and their feelings, but see, guess what? Math don't have no emotions or feelings. It either adds up or it don't, right? So I broke out some math to explain to them why this is getting harder and harder for this to happen. So why you talking about this going on? And if you having children right now with your husband and he providing for you and doing all that, your son might be in this position later on in life. And so you might want to listen about this. So watch this. I told her, I said, this is what I said. I said, there's a class of 35 students, right? That's about the average in school, right? 5 of those people are getting A's, right? And I've been saying this. I actually typed this out on Facebook, so I want to say this live to you guys now because of course, you can't type on YouTube, right? Which is a lot better anyway. So 5 of those students, 35 students, right? 5 of those students are getting A's, right? 4 of those are girls. So there's only one little boy getting an A in the classroom, right? And if you're talking about providing, that sets getting A's and getting good grades sets up for education. Education then turns around, sets up for right, some type of employment or in entrepreneurship, right, or just maybe even an employer, right? You can get you a boss, right, and that helps you to provide, right? Well, if there's 35 students in the classroom and 4 of them are women, girls that are getting the A's, and only one boy getting the A, right? How is these young boys supposed to provide for these girls? Where do they get their education from? Where do they get their money from? Right. This is where the streets come in. And this is what I'm telling you. The system knows they're doing this. Watch this. The average young boy, the average young man, right, cannot sit for 5.5 hours under a desk with a pencil in his hand. He's going to want to move. He's going to want to bump. He's going to want to run. He's going to, right? So then they give these kids 30 minutes to eat and go outside, right? This is when you're young. Now, when you become a teenager and you get to middle school, they feel like you should understand better and be more mature, so you don't have to do that. But these boys full of testosterone and energy, so they're asking these young men to do something impossible. Not to mention the fact that now after the elementary shit and the energy from running around, you ain't got that off hardly. You know what I'm saying? At school for 6 hours, 5.5 hours, you sitting there. Then you get to junior high school and the girls. Now they got bodies and you starting to like girls, right? Nobody's talking about how to tone down your ability to not focus. I remember when I was in junior high school, looking at the girls, checking them out. We spent more time in junior high school checking out girls and liking girls and wondering how we could get with them and talk to them than we did worrying about our studies, right? Because nobody, even somebody's telling you in your head, oh, your education is the way to go. Your education, you got to get a good education so you can go and be something and do something with your life, right? Be something, right? Most of the parents in our world, in our life, right? They want somebody else to teach us. Our parents don't even know if we're smart or not. The average parent don't know if the average parent only knows the child's intelligence by the kind of grades they bring home. They have no idea how intelligent or unintelligent their children are. I mean, don't get me wrong. They have daily talks and conversations with them. They know if they know how to use proper English or whatever, right? But if some people don't even understand how smart their kid is till they go to school, or how, or maybe some parents don't even know how if their children have a learning disability to after they get in school and come home, and then they say, oh, your kid is such. And that means most of us aren't taking out the time at home to teach our children anything, not from educational wise. Now, I'm not saying we don't teach them morals and values and character, right? But even sometimes with that, we miss on that. If we didn't get good morals and values and character, or we haven't developed them, how can we give somebody something we don't have, right? So I was explaining this to Facebook, and was in the middle of the conversation explaining this to them, because it's impossible for these young men to get out of high school and then get grown and start taking care of these young ladies, right? Especially if they're getting all the jobs, all the education, right? Unless you happen to be the next LeBron James or James Harden or somebody, or you know what I'm saying, or Myles Garrett or Aaron Donald, right? You're gonna have an issue. I remember when I was when I was a high schooler, right? I was coming home from school, and there was a school in my neighborhood that I didn't go to because I went to a magnet school. And the school in my neighborhood had mechanics, right? They had a mechanic class. They had a plumbing class, right? You could learn plumbing, and you could learn how to fix some cars. They had a garage where they had the cars in there. I remember I ended up sometimes going to school on the west side. Like, I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and I saw another school over there that had mechanics and auto shop, and they offered that stuff, right? All you gotta do is get an old car, get a space, get some tools and stuff, and teach and get somebody who knows what they're doing, and teach these boys how to do something on these cars and stuff, right? Because here's the thing, they know it's a lack of fatherhood in the house, and they don't care. They don't care. Everybody can't go to college. Everybody ain't gonna be corporate America. And young men are not guys that young boys. They ain't finna sit there. That's a direct way of failure. Immediately, school is a way to make a lot of these little boys. Why you think most of them are failing out of school, not finishing? Right, and then if some of them that do make it slide by, right, because they got good, they try to do better and get C's and B's or whatever. Some young boys are just naturally smart, right, and they can fly by, right. There's a lot of smart kids, right, but every boy ain't studious. Some boys they learn with their hands. You teach them how to fix something one time and they got it. It's just naturally compulsive for them. Not saying that they can't use their brain, because that is using your brain. Believe me, if you can fix an engine, you are not stupid. You know what I'm saying? You just might not know what a grammar at, what a comma go, and and you know what I'm saying? That's not for everybody. So watch this. If those trades, if those skills are not implemented in our schools, right, then where these boys gonna go? Everybody can't play professional sports. They only got 30 teams with a 53-man roster, right, for football, right? Everybody ain't gonna make the squad. Somebody not gonna get selected. Somebody ain't gonna get drafted. I just watched the other day where I saw Ohio State and Cincinnati, right? These are the two colleges that are near my city, right? I live in Ohio, so they're near my city, right? Columbus, Ohio State, and Cincinnati Bearcats, right? The Cincinnati Bearcats. So I watched them, right? I believe that when the draft came, right, this past, right, one young man from the Bearcats went to the NFL, and if my memory is correct, I want to say about 5 or 6 guys. I think 5 or 6 guys got selected from Ohio State. So out of a roster of 53 guys, right? Out of a roster of 53 dudes on the team, right? 5 guys went to the NFL. There are no guarantees for these young men. So if you ain't going to college, right? If you're not, I don't want to say if you ain't, because that sounds like I ain't got no education than I do. But I'm passionate about this. So if you're not going to college, right? And you don't have a skill, right? What you gonna do, right? Sell drugs, end up in jail, right? People are like, that's the wrong way to go. If somebody be like, what? Or get a fast food restaurant? Well, that's better than selling drugs. Now watch this. Let me show you why a lot of times you guys don't know what you're talking about. Watch this. Let's say you start cooking burgers and fries or whatever at some restaurant or something, right? Or you working at it. Or let's just say you work your way up to working at a like a red lobster or somewhere. You actually cooking, right? And then you realize you're not really making that much money, right? You got a girlfriend and she looking around at other dudes because they got money in cars and stuff. So then you like, well, should I want to get some more money in cars, right? But you don't want to sell drugs, right? So then you finally decide, you know what? I'm going to do what everybody else do, and I'm going to go to college so I can better my life, right? What you don't know is half the time these people graduate from college, end up with these degrees, and don't never get jobs in these fields. So you go and you make all this debt for yourself, right? Going to college, you think you proud of yourself. Everybody around you, your whole family's proud of you. Look at it. Look, I knew you was gonna do something with yourself, right? They talking all this, right? You go to college, and now watch this. You in college, and the other boy in prison, right? He in prison because he went out here and started selling drugs and got busted, right? So he in prison, you in college, right? At the same time that you getting out of college, right? You graduate and get your degree. This young man, the same young man that you went to school with in the same school district, he's getting out of prison, right? Now check it. You start going to all your interviews, putting your shirt and tie on, talking all, using your interview voice and, making yourself presentable and all that. They constantly turning you down. The boy out of prison get out of jail and he got to go downtown to the county. He goes down there. They give him he goes to the county. He gets a welfare worker, somebody that's gonna help him with his welfare. They set him up with some stamps and some medical. Okay, then he leaves there and got to go see his parole officer. His parole officer tell him, you got to get a job. So they suggest that he goes over to this place that's part of the county that's called Towards Employment, right? That's an employment center that help you through the welfare system. So they send him over there. He goes over there and he's in a room full of people, right? A whole bunch of other dudes. He don't know all these dudes in there, all felons like him, right? So then somebody come in and they say, well, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. This is a such and such dude from this company, blah blah blah, and this guy owns a construction company. He needs 30 men. It doesn't matter, and if you want the job, whatever. So all these guys end up getting 20 jobs, right, as a construction for the summer, making $20-$25 an hour, while the young man who just graduated from college still has the debt, right, and still can't find a job in his field. So then now mind you, his job, his field, I'm not gonna tell you what his field is. I'm not gonna go and try to make up no field, but his field says that he's qualified to make with the job he got to make up to $75,000 a year, right? So since he can't find a job in his field, right, he's somewhere working at another job, right? He almost it's getting so bad, he's almost desperate to return to the restaurant, right? But he ends up finding some job, right, that only pays him $30,000 a year. So he's way below the average of what he thought he was gonna make for his degree, and it's not in his field. And then watch with the money he's making. Now watch this. The young man that's in prison making $25 an hour, right? He ain't got no debt. He don't owe nobody nothing. He been in prison. So $25 an hour to him is like being rich because this dude was living off of commissary money. The other kid, right? He got all this debt, right? He making way less money than this dude, about $30,000 a year, right? And on top of that, a portion of that has to go every year to pay his school back for the money he took out, the loan he took out to go to school. So he already he behind the kid that went to prison. So when kids start looking at that, it's like I'd rather take my risk selling drugs and get caught and go to prison and become a fucking construction worker. Than that's fucked up. And here's the thing: the reason why I'm telling this story, I literally know that this actually happens to people. This ain't something I'm making up. I seen somebody actually go to prison, right? Go to prison for 5-6 years, get out, and go get their welfare card and go get all. And I know people who went to school to get their degree, right, and got out and talked about how much they were supposed to be making before they went, and all that shit, all excited, right, to go to college, can't wait, and come back with a lesser job than what they said they was going to be able to get, not in their field, and they owe that college. They owe that money back to that bank, and they paying it. barely paying it too. Sometimes not paying it. And the kid that went to prison, he balling out. He balling out. He done bought him a car, got him a house, moved up in the construction business better, found out he was really good with his hands. Next thing you know, he done turned his life around completely to the point where you would never even know this boy was ever in prison, period. And the kid that went to college today, to this day, is still struggling to pay that fucking debt. This is for education purpose only. This is not to tell people, hey, the route to go is to go do drugs and go to jail and get a construction job. This is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they are constantly locking the doors on melanated young men and men, period. Even little white boys get caught up in this shit too. You know what I'm saying? And if you part of the, if your father ain't around and you got low self-esteem because of lack of fatherhood in your life as a young boy, and you out here trying to be a man, you think it's all only a man within your pants chasing these girls and all that shit. You fuck around and be a father, a daddy before you a full-fledged man. You fuck around and bring a kid in this world before you a full-fledged man. The ink ain't even dried on your diploma, and you already a daddy. We got to find solutions for our kids. We have to do is we have to make these schools do right by our children. We can't let these motherfuckers run. Excuse my language. We can't make these people run our families the way they want to run them, to the point where, because the melanated community, people of color, we so easily persuaded by whatever else somebody else say. And the problem with that is that, how can you believe somebody been lying to you forever? They put a good spin on it and then get you involved in it so much to the point where you so invested in it, in your heart of hearts, you believe it yourself. But these the same people been lying to you and doing you wrong since you opened your eyes. These people know that this is mostly a route for prison for young men. They know this. These people, anybody that has any type of education, all these psychiatrists and all these so-called I wrote a book on thesis of how to raise children. Most folk know that the average little boy ain't finna sit and learn for no 5.5 fucking hours. You know that. That's why people are always constantly saying, and I heard people say this like Meechie X and them, shout out to Meechie, that this is a prison, that school system, public school system ain't nothing but a pipeline to prison for young boys. And that's exactly what the fuck's going on. And when your dad ain't there to start talking to you about your body, about you thinking about girls, right? Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you, when you start to get, this was really throws you off. When you start thinking about girls from junior high to high school, even if you ain't having sex, your whole intention is to. Your whole MO, because you don't know what it is. You ain't never had it. So you trying to figure out if a girl like you, who like you, what girl, if she go to your school, does she go to another school, right? This is your main focus. It's not your grades. It's not your future. And I'm not beating up on our kids, because I was one of those kids that was just doing that same kind of shit. What I'm saying is, if they don't provide something for us to keep us, to get us focused on our futures, then they know that we gonna end up, 9 times out of 10, some of us gonna slide through and be okay because we ain't gonna break some laws or whatever. But the average black man is gonna spend some time, maybe not in prison, but definitely in jail. These people have set up roadblocks to make sure that we fall within those confinements, so we end up being in that position. So here's the thing, it's weird as fuck, because when you think about it, some of the men who fought for equality been in jail. Malcolm X got arrested. Martin Luther King got arrested. Okay, they lock a motherfucker up anyway. You know what I'm saying? Only people can be political and not go to jail. It's white men. When a black man becomes political, he either get assassinated or he go to jail, or both. When a white man become political, he can say whatever he want to say, as long as he ain't trying to help certain group of people. Long as he go along with whatever policies they already got in place, they don't. He's fine with them, which is usually to stop society, especially the lower end of society, from guess what, becoming better than what they are. Because our people have been placed there strategically through their education system or lack thereof. Lack thereof, basically. That's what it is. That's what I'm talking about today, y'all. So you guys think about what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Contemplate that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I'm sick of people putting slogans and names together for some of these young men. Some of these young men are lost. They don't know where they want to go and what they want to do in their life. And so they choose the streets because nobody else has been around for them to say, hey, let's go this route, or let's do this, or to show them like, look at me, look how I'm living. See all the shoe, see my shoe rack, see my house, see my cars, see my this, you know how I got this, and then show them the way to do that. That's usually their father's job, and that never has been happening in our community. You can go back as far as the 50s, 60s, 70s, 40s, and find where welfare was implemented into our system, and there was no men in the house. And now it's becoming a habitual habit to find somebody to screw and have a baby with, but then be like, you know what, I don't want to be, and argue and flip and flop, right? And mostly, what do we fight over? It's on one or two things. It's either some type of sexual orientation that the person has a problem with, that the other person is doing because they wasn't being honest with them about it, right? And just keeping it real, right? Or it could be some lack of what you giving the person to make them go out there and do what they doing, right? Whatever that case might be. Or somebody couldn't turn down some sex, right? Or the only other thing is, guess what? People argue over is finances, right? Now watch this. Most folk will pick a fight with you about finances, but they won't talk about finance. They'll pick a fight with you about any petty other thing that's going on in the house, but really the fight is really about the money. You very seldom, especially women that don't want to be labeled gold diggers or money hungry or users. They'll pick a fight up. They'll use another argument and be petty about something else when really it's about that. And it's the thing. It's not like men don't know this. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us are intuitive to how you guys are, because you've been doing the same thing for a lot of years, right? Here's the thing. Which one of y'all stepped up to the system? Which one of y'all women been going taking? Because you see, this ain't about, let's just take the focus off you and your man. You got a son, right? Which one of y'all been up to the school system fighting for your sons? Because let me tell you something. You sitting around here with your lips all poked out about a man's financial situation and his ability to take care of you. Watch this. If you don't do shit about it now, it's gonna be your son later. Some of y'all think your son's gonna slide. Oh, not my son. Everybody think ain't no. Now watch this. It's happening all over the fucking country. It's been happening to men since forever, right? How you think your son gonna be so much better? Everybody thinks that. Oh, not my child. My child gonna be the next LeBron James. Oh, not my son. He's smart. Oh, not my son. He this. And you never know what's gonna look. There's a lot of kids that's smart end up selling drugs and in prison. Okay, drug dealers are actually businessmen. It take a lot of business sense to be able to take some shit, cut it up, you know what I'm saying, put it together, find your clientele, sell it to them, make enough money to pay your rent, take care of yourself, and put yourself in a lavish situation, and then have enough money to go back and re-up. I'm saying I don't know the operation. I'm just saying. That's a business. It may be an illegal business according to the law, but it's still nevertheless a business, which means somebody could actually run a business. These men aren't stupid. They're being caged in like animals. When they don't have a direction to go, when they don't know which way to go. And this is the game that our system plays with us. And then we sit back and act like, and most women, I'm about to rise y'all a little bit. Y'all be the main ones. Niggas ain't niggas. Y'all, this, and then when it's your son, when in 15, you talking that shit now, in 25, 15 years later, wherever you are in your life right now, when it's your son and some girl saying the same shit about your baby boy, you're going to have a fucking fit. But remember, you was talking shit about his father years ago. And you did nothing for the situation. Did you go to the PTA meetings? Huh? Did you start teaching your son at home about, you know what I'm saying? Did you work with his father so that he can, if his father to show him how to certain things, how to pick up a trade or how to, do something, that because if the father, here's the thing, the father 9 times out of 10 probably don't have a trade, right? Because if you're going through with him, right, at the time he don't have one either, right? But once you pick this out and figure this is going on, by the time your son get ready, the man, if you so deal with him, right, he might be in a position where he knows what's going on because he went through it. And believe me, no man that goes through anything fucked up wants to see his own son go through the same shit. He gonna do whatever he can to try to prevent that from happening for his child. Most of y'all don't know how to deal with that because we don't know how to deal with each other. We don't know how to respect each other. We all tensed and angry at everybody, right? And here's the thing. Most of the time, it be the system. You be mad at the person for dealing with what they dealing with and going through what they going through and don't realize it's the system fucking them too. But you ain't gonna go down there and cuss them white folk out down to the county, are you? You ain't gonna go down to them jobs. You ain't go to them jobs and custom managers and bosses and supervisors out that's disrespecting them people, right? You ain't gonna call your husband's old boss and cuss they people out about how they treat them, how they doing them unfavorable disservice, which is keeping money out of their pocket. But what you will do is act like a heifer and cuss and go off and cuss out your own, the dude and act funny and weird with him like it's his fault. This is exactly why men and women can't get along in our community. See, white people, I ain't saying they don't have problems because it's poor white people too. But the ones that have money, this is not their issue. They might have other issues, but this one's not. This is our issue. And of course, all of the other ethnicities, including some of the poor white trash. I'm not calling them trash like that. I'm just saying that's what they call them. You know, if you poor or rednecks or whatever, you ain't got no money. Your kids could easily end up in this system too, in this situation too. And especially since in school, like I said, here's the thing. With white people, some of these white guys got hold of certain things. They got some trades. They know how to do concrete. The average black man, he might be able to cook, right? Most black men can cook. You'd be surprised how many black men can cook, right? So can you open a restaurant? Can you open, you know what I'm saying? And that's when business comes involved. Just because you can cook don't mean you know the business. There's all kind of, you got people. In fact, the funny thing is, one of my cousins tried that a few years ago. He had his own thing, whatever. But here come the health inspector. Here come this, right? They always screwing with people, especially the black man. You know what I'm saying? Especially the black man. I know people got restaurants now, right? I do cleaning. I do some cleaning on some of my jobs when I go in, I clean buildings and restaurants. I used to clean restaurants, and I would go in there and I'd be like, man, where's the health? The health inspector need to come in here, and they getting away with it. But if a black man get a business, here comes a cooking business. Oh, let's see what he doing. Let's see. I go in restaurants all the time and see different little things, and because I know what passes and fails sometimes because I've been around restaurants all my life. I've been a cook. I've been a prep cook. I've been a head cook. I've been a couple things in kitchens in my younger days, and I know that I know what's proper and then my grandmother owned a catering service, so I would help her cater. So I know proper how things are supposed to be in the thing, because people come in there and check and see what you're doing. I've been around health inspectors my whole life, even when I was a kid. As my grandmother being a caterer, sometimes she would be involved with health inspectors. So I know how this works. And a lot of times what they do is they purposely come after the people that they know that are making money of color. It is a game that they play all the time. I'm not saying that this is all racist, okay? But what I'm saying is there has been a system set up for people of color, especially black men, to fail. Now here's the question I want to know. Why hasn't that system been destroyed yet? Did your voting help? Did voting for Biden help the system be destroyed for your sons? Did it create trades and skills for your sons so that if they don't go to college, they can have good jobs to be good fathers and good providers for their family? No. And so we still in the same shit. Here it is, 2021, and it's still happening. It is time for our people to wake up and become involved and actually get upset and get enraged about this shit. Everybody can't homeschool. Everybody can't tell you how. Everybody can't put yourself in a position to teach your child a trade if you ain't got one yourself. These young men deserve better than that. They don't deserve to be called busts or bums or deadbeats or no good niggas. They don't deserve that. How you get to be called princess, queen, and all this carrying on, but a boy ain't shit? That's society setting it up in people's minds, and that's everybody else running with it. Soon as they say Nike the best shoe, y'all go buy them. You ain't up with a program mind. You ain't got your own thoughts. And it's ridiculous because you missing the bigger point. I'm hoping that we can find solutions for these things in our life, y'all. We really need to. All right. And before I go, as always, plan your life. Find solutions for your situations. Right. Figure it out. Figure it out. There's a plan for your life. You have to figure out who you are and what you want, and then go after it. Go after it. Don't let no obstacles. Don't let people. Don't let politics. Okay. Don't let loved ones. Nobody. Okay. Don't let bad times, financial hardships. Okay. Naysayers, or you gonna hire them. You gonna hire them, right? Them gonna be the same ones kissing your ass after you reach your goal. Those of you who have find a way to reach your goal, find out what you need to do to get to it, right? And then take those steps and take it all the way. Okay? And yeah. I don't know no man in this world who don't want to provide for his family. I've been in school. I was in school, and my kids, and all my kids. I got three of my children, or four of my children. Excuse me, I'm like three. I forget the names and number. It's like how call your kid the other name. They all went to school. So I've seen this going on. Right, I lost my train of thought. I've seen this happening to kids all around. My son called me the other day. He's 20 years old, and he's trying to find his way. He wants a path for himself. And I'm so thankful that he wants that. Some of these young men are so deterred and disturbed by this world and this shit that's going on here. They know there ain't no path. So they just sitting around doing nothing, trying to be a rapper, trying to do whatever, just anything that's anything. Even though they know they ain't really doing nothing, going nowhere, they're just doing something just to bide their time. Not saying that, some of them don't even have talent that much. They all just like, well, everybody else doing this, that's how you get rich. And that lets you know if these kids are seeking that shit, they actually are seeking success. They might be going about the wrong way. They might be in the wrong field. They may not have the talent that they need to do the system. And even that. What about that, right? Let's not act like the music industry is our friend. It's not our friend either. And everybody just sitting around, we complain, but we don't do nothing about it. It's easy to complain. Oh, that don't make no sense. And then just sit there and that's it. No petitions, no nothing, right? We have got to start standing up to these companies, to our government, and telling them enough is enough. All right, y'all. Peace.